The story then moves to a new location, Gwyn Technical High School. A new student named Bong Gun Dae transfers into the school, only to discover that it is completely controlled by gangs. Students are constantly bullied, extorted for money, and forced into criminal activities. When Bong enters his classroom, he is shocked by what he sees. Nearly every student has gang tattoos, openly smokes drugs, and carries weapons inside the school. Their violence is not limited to fellow students, they even threaten and abuse their teachers. Before long, chaos erupts. Students begin pulling out weapons and attacking one another. Knives, metal pipes, and even heavy automotive tools become weapons as rival groups clash inside the school. While trying to understand what is happening, Bong is approached by a student named Kim Hyung. He explains that the fighting is between students from the automotive department and the electrical engineering department. Both groups are competing for the favor of a powerful gang leader named Gwon Haeok. The winning group will earn the privilege of joining his organization. At the same time, the herb has already been monitoring the situation. They are preparing a major operation to dismantle the gangs and turn the school back into an actual place of learning instead of a battlefield. Elsewhere, one of the bullies forces a newly transferred student and the class's most loyal and hardworking student to fight each other. "Fight to the death," he says cruelly, "and after one of you loses, I'll beat the winner too." After the fight ends, the bully keeps his promise and begins beating the weaker student anyway. It becomes clear that this boy is the school's favorite victim. He is poor, quiet, and completely devoted to his studies. Despite the constant abuse, he dreams of getting an education and changing his life. Bong quickly becomes friends with him and starts learning more about his difficult circumstances. Wanting to understand him better, he even visits the boy's home and sees the hardships he faces every day. The following morning, Hwa Jin arrives at Gwyn Technical High School. He approaches Kim Hyung and asks why he continues coming to school when he gets beaten almost every day. Kim struggles to answer, but Hwa Jin reveals that the herb has already started investigating his case. Their next mission has officially begun. It is then revealed that Bong, who had been pretending to be a newly transferred student, is actually an undercover member of the herb and part of the operation to eliminate the gangs controlling the school. One day, Bong deliberately provokes several gang members and leads them straight to Hwa Jin. The gang members immediately try to intimidate him and even attempt to attack him. Hwa Jin calmly introduces himself as an herb inspector and explains the rules and standards that should exist in a proper school. The students, however, have no intention of listening and decide to attack him instead. Unfortunately for them, Hwa Jin is far more skilled than they expected. None of them can even land a proper hit on him. Instead, he effortlessly defeats every one of them, leaving the gang members battered and broken. Afterward, he gathers the students and introduces a new schedule, explaining how many hours they are expected to study each day. Even then, the students refuse to behave. Some try throwing objects at him, but Hwa Jin quickly teaches them another unforgettable lesson. Before long, they are all sitting quietly and behaving like proper students. Later, the regular teacher enters the classroom and begins writing a lesson on the board. One student raises his hand and sarcastically claims that he does not have a pen. Hwa Jin immediately punishes him, and the student's attitude disappears at once. The other students who refuse to take notes receive similar discipline until the entire class begins cooperating. Soon, two of the school's most notorious troublemakers refuse to participate in a practical training lesson. Hwa Jin responds by taking them on a ride in a damaged vehicle, driving them around the city until they are completely exhausted and terrified. He is about to punish them further when Kim Hyung steps in and stops him. Later, Bong asks Kim why he defended those two students. Kim explains that he was worried the situation would create more chaos and cause classes to be canceled again. Meanwhile, the two troublemakers decide to escape from school. They want to meet the powerful gangster Gwon Hyuk, who recently chose their group after they defeated a rival faction. Bong notices their plan, and they convince him to help them sneak out so they can meet the gang leader. Pretending to cooperate, Bong follows them. Afterward, all three return to class. The two troublemakers immediately begin provoking Hwa Jin. At that moment, the classroom door suddenly opens and Guan Hyuk himself walks in. Without hesitation, the gangster challenges Hua Jin to a fight. The two exchange blows in front of the entire class. After a brief battle, Hua Jin is knocked to the ground. The students immediately erupt into cheers, chanting Guan Hyuk's name, feeling victorious. Guan Hyuk proudly announces that he will never allow the herb to control his school. But then Hua Jin slowly gets back to his feet. It turns out he was only pretending to be defeated. In an instant, he launches a fierce counterattack and begins overwhelming Guan Hyuk with powerful punches. We then learn that capturing Guan Hyuk was Hua Jin's real objective all along. The gangster was the mastermind responsible for turning students into gang members and encouraging them to fight and harm one another. After defeating him, Hua Jin places him in chains and drags him in front of his followers. The gang members immediately rush forward to rescue their leader, but they fare no better than he did. Hua Jin defeats them one after another, breaking their fighting spirit completely. The students watch in shock. Many of them had spent years acting like bullies and gangsters, but now they are terrified. One by one, they begin begging Hua Jin for forgiveness. However, Hua Jin tells them they are asking the wrong person. If you want forgiveness, he says, ask Kim Hyung. He points to the quiet student they had bullied, beaten, and humiliated every single day. Overwhelmed with emotion, Kim Hyung begins to cry. For the first time in a long time, someone has finally stood up for him and given him the justice he deserved. Hua Jin then addresses the entire school. If you don't want to study, you are free to leave. But never again become an obstacle to someone else's education. Never torment a student who is simply trying to build a better future. With those words, the crisis at Gwyn Technical High School finally comes to an end. From that point forward, tattoos, drugs, gang activity, violence, and bullying are completely banned from the school. The campus gradually transforms from a battleground into a real place of learning. After completing their mission, Hua Jin and Bong return to the Ministry of Education and report their success.